Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the world. Unquote Albert Einstein. Dear educators, Namaste and welcome to today's session on art integration. Well, the learning outcomes that I have brought for you, at the end of the session, you all will be able to describe the meaning of art education in various forms, compare art integrated learning with art education, demonstrate art integration with the core academic subjects, appraise the benefits of AIL and experiential learning. Also, apply the essence of art integrated learning as per the new education policy in our classrooms. So, I am sure you are excited. What is it that comes to your mind with the word art education? Well, art education is defined broadly as the process of teaching and learning how to create and produce the visual and performing arts and how to understand and evaluate art forms created by others. The students should understand and apply art media and the processes. They should use visual art structures and functions. Not only that, they should choose and evaluate a range of subject matter, symbols and ideas. They should understand art in relation to history and cultures, learn to reflect upon and assess the merits of their own work and that of others, and thus make the connections between art and the other disciplines. Well, you must be wondering, how did this metamorphosis took place from STEM moving on to STEAM and then to STREAM? STREAM education means preparing future leaders for an ever evolving workforce. STEM education, dear listeners, has long been viewed as an integral part of this approach, with science, technology, engineering and mathematics serving as the key resources for learning intentions. The introduction of art was a paradigm shift as it led to the use of creative imagination in problem solving. STEAM education helps in applying project-based learning, that is PBL. So, from STEM to STEAM and then to STREAM is there for all of us, whether our school chooses to add the A for the arts or the R for reading or robotics, or these are all great ways to provide hands-on learning opportunities to our students in the classrooms. Let us look at the impact of art education. Well, art education refers to education in the disciplines of music, dance, theatre, visual arts, and, dear listeners, there is ample evidence that an art education improves the performance in other areas as well. A number of researchers have found out that there is clear evidence of sustained involvement in particular art forms like music and theatre, leading to success in mathematics and reading. Isn't this wonderful? And now let us reflect on what does the new education policy says about art. As per NEP 4.7, art integration is a cross-curricular pedagogical approach that utilizes various aspects and forms of art and culture as the basis for learning of concepts across the subjects. As a part of the thrust on experiential learning, art integrated education will be embedded in classroom transactions, not only for creating joyful classrooms, but also for imbibing the Indian ethos through integration of Indian art and culture in the teaching and learning process at every level. This art integrated approach, says the NEP, will strengthen the linkages between education and culture. So apt, isn't it, listeners? So let us look at the recommendations for CBSE affiliated schools. Well, as a roadmap towards art integrated learning, the following aspects are mandatory for CBSE affiliated schools. Art integrated education, it enhances communication skills, language skills, problem solving skills, and it helps to build sensitivity towards environment and societal concerns. So apt, don't you think so? The mandatory art education, the second aspect, says that art education will continue to be mandatory for classes 1 to 10. Every school shall compulsorily reserve a minimum of 2 periods per week per class for art education. The objectives of art education are equally important for us to know. They are helping the learners to consolidate the past experiences and knowledge. Also, getting to introduce the learners to different media and techniques and their usage for creative and productive expression for common use. Not only this, to provide opportunities for development of awareness about folk arts, the local specific arts, and the other cultural components leading to an appreciation of national heritage, such as Kalighat paintings of Bengal, or even Pattachitra of West Bengal and Odisha, just to name a few. Also, to assist the learners to use artistic and aesthetic sensibility in day-to-day life situation. To enable the learners also to achieve a balanced growth as a social being in tune with our culture through the project work such as Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, getting acquainted with the life and work of the local artists, and also using resourcefully the locally available material to make different products or objects with the help of the local community. Also, refining the use of appreciation of the beauty of nature through the basic elements of art forms. I would now like to tell you what is the basic approach to art education. Well, we have visual arts as well as the performing arts. In visual arts, there are 2 as well as 3-dimensional structures. In 2-dimensional or pictorial aspects, we have drawing and painting, isn't it? Collage making, printing, photography, computer graphics. And then in 3-dimensional, we have clay modeling and pottery, carving and sculpture, construction. Coming to the performing and language arts, we have music, both vocal and instrumental music, the movement and dance, the creative drama and puppetry, the creative writing and poetry. These are all very, very interesting segments of art education. Art education increases the student engagement. Children learn positive habits, behaviors, and attitudes. Art enhances creativity. The students are able to sharpen their critical and intellectual skills. Arts teaches methods for learning language skills. Also, it helps the students learn mathematics. Art education increases the capacity for leadership. Isn't that important? Aesthetic learning is its own reward for every student. The students practice teamwork, and art education increases their capacity for leadership. All these elements are very important. The art education in schools, well, art as a curriculum, learning the vocal, instrumental music, something like tabla, learning Bharatnatyam, Odissi dance, Manipuri, Kathakali, Kathak, etc. are extremely important. Art enhanced curriculum includes using diagrams to enhance the concepts, the diagram of a heart or photosynthesis. Art integrated learning is an NCERT initiative based on the recommendation of National Curriculum Framework 2005, of which the position papers on music, art, dance and theatre clearly mention that education through the arts, where learning takes place using different art forms, is a tool in the teaching learning process. The model is designed to promote experiential learning, where every learner is provided opportunities to go through the art experience in visual and performing arts to understand and learn different subjects. Integration of arts. Well, it promotes art forms on one side and the academic subjects on the other side, and a beautiful harmony between the two. The children needs to experience processes rather than strive only for a prefixed goal is taken care of. Experiential learning of academic content leading to holistic learning is prioritized. The interdisciplinary connections are taken care of. The expressions with freedom and opportunity for self-reflection is adequate. The growth of social skills by giving the students experiences of working as a team is very much there. The emotional expression and stability is taken care of. The appreciation for diversity and cultural confidence is amazing. The observation, experimentation and building scientific temperament is really a great feel. The aesthetic sensibility and respect for national and cultural heritage is amazing too. Well, there are many strategies for implementation of art integration, which I am sure, dear teachers, you would love to know. The first one being capacity building. So important to have good training programs for teachers. Planning of activities needs to be really good. The planning time and resources need to be done adequately. The classroom management and community involvement has to be looked into. There is a suggested format for writing art integrated learning activity. For example, the teachers could first mention the class, followed by the subject, and that could follow the theme or the chapter. They must mention the art forms which are going to be used. The time required needs to be looked into. The planning of art experiences, follow-up exercises, and the assessment pattern needs to be structured well. Linking of art experiences with the concepts and themes needs to be planned by the teachers. To follow the art integrated learning based assessment in true spirit, the facilitators must keep the following points in mind. 1. They need to be non-judgmental. They must not compare the work of individuals. It is a purely non-competitive work. The artwork must cater to the individual learning pattern. Teachers must respect the pace of the student. There has to be non-threatening environment in the class. Using a variety of tools and techniques of assessment is appreciated. Both individuals and the group performances can be assessed by the facilitator, for they must assess both the verbal and non-verbal expression of the student. Art integration encourages differentiated instructions too. Well, the classrooms are with students with different kinds of needs, different kind of educational backgrounds, and different attention spans or interest levels. Different languages they must be speaking, having different kind of abilities and cultural backgrounds that they come from. Therefore, we have art that integrates them all, and it is the work of the teacher to make the most of it. Well, I must take you through the person who has brought this concept of art and experiential learning. Kolb's learning styles and experiential learning model. David A. Kolb, American educational theorist, said, "Learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Knowledge results from the combination of grasping experience and transforming it." David Kolb said this. Kolb's learning styles and experiential learning cycle is a 4-step process. The steps are: first, concrete experience or feeling, learning from specific experiences and relating them to people, being sensitive to others' feelings. The second step is reflective observation or watching, observing before making a judgment by viewing the environment from different perspectives. Looks for the meaning of things. The third one is abstract conceptualization or thinking, logical analysis of ideas and acting on intellectual understanding of a situation. The fourth one is active experimentation or doing, the ability to get things done by influencing people and events through actions, and this includes risk taking. An example of Kolb's cycle I would like to share with you, and that is learning to ride a bicycle. Now here the first stage, reflective observation, is thinking about riding and watching another person ride a bike. The second stage, abstract conceptualization, is understanding the theory and having a clear grasp of biking concept. The third stage is concrete experience, that is receiving the practical tips and techniques from a biking expert. The fourth one is active experimentation or leaping on the bike and having a go at it. So, this kind of an experience remains with the child for a long time. Some of the pointers are that art has always been with us in India as an integration to relieve us from the mundane, and therefore the art is a way of our daily life. Somewhere along we have isolated the art as a separate appendage in the timetable. Consequently, the core subject's learning has become dull and less challenging. Therefore, the big question is, what is the purpose of integration? Art integration is experiential and it leads to better retention. Therefore, we as educators must follow it. There are 9 steps for integration of the arts. One is define the concept well. Then come back with the good learning outcomes. Define them carefully. The third one is exploring the art forms. The next one is selecting an appropriate strategy. Fifth is designing the activity to integrate. And the next one is designing an assessment criteria. Not to miss, execution of activity followed by actual assessment. And the last one is, of course, reflection. The teacher will connect, for example, a worldly art of Western Ghats to the concept of congruence by giving examples from created compositions in the class. And now there is the Gond art of Madhya Pradesh, to name it. It can be used to create a picture of science lab by the students depicting various stages of experiments. A recap of 3D shapes using the dance choreography that the students can create shapes on a piece of music in a stipulated period of time. They will also be introduced to the concept of surface area and volume. What a beautiful integration of art with the concept of mathematics. It can be integrated in the form of using antonyms with 2 words as an opposite meaning. For example, happy and its opposite is sad for a grade 2 student. It can be depicted through an art form for grade 1 and 2 in mathematics. And also we could have different forms of flora and fauna depicted through various cutouts, through various drawings. The measurement of angles, phonic samples could be done with the help of various art forms and images. In EVS or social science, the planet, the continent, the country, flora and fauna and artwork could be depicted in origami form. Culinary art is another great way of integrating art with the concepts of science and social science or even art. To learn more, go through the handbook given by CBSE on its site and make the most of this wonderful experience. I am sure, dear listeners, that you would have made many mental notes from today's session and you're going to make your classrooms really happening place. Namaste.